Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. And of course, it's a Monday, so we've got Jason Cameron joining us to do a great weekend wrap-up of sports. Speaking of the weekend, how was it for you, Jason? I heard you took it pretty easy.
I did. I don't know. I was a little bit tired from the week, so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill. Just gonna chill out, watch my sports, kick my feet up. It was nice. It was nice.
Awesome. Yeah, man, I've been feeling it too. I kind of think it's that season where, it's dark in the morning when we go to work, it's dark when we go home. It's I think all these productions are trying to, pack everything in before the holiday break, and I was feeling really tired too. I didn't do a ton. Luckily on Saturday night we won some tickets again for some comedy, so we went and watched some comedy again on Saturday, which was great. Nice to get out for that, but the rest of the weekend was just sports, and lots of great sports to watch, so it was fun.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. You reminded me of a certain boxing match that was on. I did manage to catch the last 3 to 4 rounds before it ended.
Okay.
And that I felt really bad for Derek Chisora. I'm talking about the Fury Chisora boxing match.
Yeah, Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora. Yeah,
but he got beat.
He got beat up. He's past his prime big time.
Right.
That is the third time that Tyson Fury has beaten him. I was pretty impressed with the crowd.
Yes.
At Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they had 60,000 fans there, and it was really chilly. It was very, very cold. I saw a lot of people bundled up in very thick coats and stuff, they sold out the place in a fight that I think most people knew that Fury was going to win it. So obviously the draw, Tyson Fury is still a big draw, and there's still that many boxing fans in the UK that are willing to shell out the money to go see it live.
What I appreciated about Tyson Fury is that him and Chisora are clearly friends after the fight was done and stuff. He made sure to give his buddy on his way out, because I think Chisora is nearing the end of his career, or that might be the last fight of his career. Huge payday.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's very really cool. Awesome to do that.
Very cool. Yeah. Fury's a class guy so often, and it's great to see. There was quite the stare down and talk after the fight. Obviously, having Usyk there was really key and big, and everybody's hoping that they will face each other finally next to try to unify all the belts. What did you think of the exchange between them after?
Rabbit, you're gonna run around like a little rabbit. Yeah, I loved it. If there's one thing that Fury's good at, is he's good at promoting a future boxing match. He's good at promotion, period. And I loved it. And I love Usyk just his demeanor, which is, I don't even know what you're probably talking about. I only talk Ukrainian. I know you're talking nonsense. And he just had that dead stare. He really didn't say anything.
No,
but it was great because he didn't need to.
Yeah.
He didn't need to sell the fight. That guy's already doing it for you. You're good.
Yeah, that's true. It was great. I'm not sure why it hasn't happened yet. Probably money, and
probably always money.
Good chance that Usyk's got more important things to do, with Russia bombing the hell out of his country, and so but it was nice to see him ringside and see them stir up a fight coming up in 2023. I think that's going to be great. You and I and most people think that the size disparity is just going to be so crazy, and one of the craziest size mismatches we've ever seen in any heavyweight fight. So don't see how Usyk can overcome that, but I think we're all looking forward to that fight now.
Yeah, it's going to be like literally classic David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
And it really is. We're going to see if Usyk can keep away from Fury for 12 rounds, because we know that he's not taking him out. All right. That's not going to happen. He has to literally stay away from Fury, use that incredible movement and footwork for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
And that's going to be super hard because Fury does know how to cut off the ring. He does know how to hunt him down. And if he ever gets him up against the ropes, ooh, not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
No. Yeah, no, I'm so impressed with Tyson Fury being such a huge guy, but incredible footwork and just great movement all the time. His uppercuts are crazy, and with a guy that small, obviously he's just going to be feeding that, feeding those uppercuts to him. It should be able to keep him on the outside with his jab, and I don't know, yeah, it's weird that I am looking forward to a fight like that because it just seems like, my money would definitely be on Fury. I think he's far superior fighter and just so much bigger that I just don't see Usyk having a shot. But it's funny that I really want to see it.
I do too, because if there's one thing that I will give Usyk credit for, he's even Tyson Fury said it after the fight with Chisora. He's a masterclass boxer.
Yeah.
Masterclass.
Yeah.
He is that good. So he will have to use every trick that he's ever learned in the book to try to win that fight. Everything.
Yeah. Sure will. Yeah. Yeah. So let's hope they can put pen to paper, divvy up the money properly and make it happen sometime early in 2023. I think if they put it in Wembley, it's going to have 90,000 fans there. If they can put it somewhere, that can even fit more than that. It's just going to be one of the biggest fights in the history of the sport. And I think we'll put boxing on the map for those few weeks, months around that fight.
Absolutely, it will. I just hope that this fight it doesn't go in the same way as the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? That's the fear. That's the fear that I have, that it goes down that same path. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see it.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Yeah, there was just so much sports. I couldn't believe it. I was watching the World Cup. I was watching the UFC. I watched week 13 of the NFL, week 7 of the NBA. I even watched some Hero World Challenge golf. Did you watch any of the World Cup? Have you got any of the World Cup fever yet?
Not really. I'm gonna be honest, man. For me, unfortunately, it's the time difference. The time difference it just really kills me because I need it's the weekend. I'm sleeping in. I am not getting up early. That is not a thing that I do. I sleep in. So unfortunately, I'm missing a lot.
Yeah, it's been fun. Tons of upsets and, great to see Canada in there. Great to see the US. England had a big win on the weekend. Our friend Joe Hinks actually had 75 friends of his all head down to the Shark Club and watch England win yesterday. And he showed me videos today of the party that they had. It looked amazing. I have friends that went down to watch Brazil at the Pint, and for some reason it becomes Brazil house down at the Pint when Brazil plays. They won. They had a big win today, 4-1 over South Korea, and lots of parties around the city. Croatia won this morning on penalty kicks against Japan, and I have some Croatian friends. That cultural center over on Commercial Drive was just humming this morning. It's been really fun around the city and around the world, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. There is one thing I will say. I think I saw the highlights of it on Friday, and it was the most, out of all the World Cup games I've ever seen, goals I've ever seen, was probably the most ridiculous goal I've ever seen in my life. I think you'll know what it is once I mention it, obviously. Japan versus Spain. Yeah. Japan wins.
Yeah.
But that goal that he had, which the angle that he even kicked the ball at seemed impossible.
Incredible. Yeah. That was a miracle goal. And the incredible thing about Japan was they won a game where they had the lowest possession rate in the history of the World Cup. They only possessed the ball 17% of the game, and they were able to sub in a couple guys near the end, fresh legs, and boom, get that miraculous goal and advance on. They almost pulled off a massive upset again today, and this team was fun. They beat Germany, they beat Spain. They really had a phenomenal tournament, and it was fun to see them become one of those powerhouses that you really weren't expecting.
Yeah, no, it was unexpected and fantastic at the same time. One of my very good friends, his wife is Japanese.
Okay.
So he was ranting and raving about it. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I gotta see this highlight. He's going nuts about it. Then when I saw it, I was like, what? Because literally it looked like it was out of bounds.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. Like,
yeah, it looks like an impossible angle and just incredible. Yeah, so great. Yeah, it's been fun. I'm loving it. I've been able to catch a ton of the games, and yeah, it's only going to get even better. As the teams get closer to this quarterfinals and on and on. So yeah, it's been fun. Unfortunately, Canada got knocked out. Did not play very well, but yeah, we at least we were there. It was nice. We had our first game was our best game, and it's going to be really nice when 2026 they're going to be coming here. 48 teams instead of 32 this time. There'll be 80 games scheduled across the whole entire tournament, and I think Vancouver's going to get about 2 or 3 games. So it'd be nice to have some games here. I plan to try to travel and see a bunch of games across this country, US, maybe even into Mexico. I'd really love to catch a ton of this World Cup when it comes here in 2026.
Yeah, and also too, I think the team's just going to be stronger by that point in time. Like, I think the players are going to get experience. Right. We're just going to be better, and I look forward to it. I really do. I look forward to it. I think we're going to definitely have a better showing than we had in this particular World Cup.
And it's going to be so much nicer. You mentioned the time difference. It was tough getting up, for some of these. There was 5 a.m. games, 7 a.m. games, 9 a.m. games, 11 a.m. games. It's tough when it's overseas somewhere, and we got to get up that early to try to catch the games. I was cheering a lot for Australia because I got a lot of Australian family, and they had an amazing showing as well. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been really fun. I love the World Cup. I love watching it, and yeah, I'm still enjoying it, and we still got a couple weeks to go. So here we go. I had a podcast late last week. Trevor Jones was my guest, and yeah, I put the word out to a lot of people to take a watch of a special podcast with him. Trevor's an actor, stuntman, all around great guy. I was really thrilled. The podcast turned out really well, and I got lots of great feedback from so many people that watched it and said, wow, so glad you were able to get him to come to a podcast. Did you get a chance to see a little bit of it, Jason?
I got a chance to see a little bit of it. I would have liked to have seen more, but then I think I was at work, so I couldn't watch much more of it, but it was awesome. It was funny though, because I was talking with some of the coworkers. They're just like, I guess you reached out to, I want to say Corey or something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you're just like, I don't know this guy, Jason. I don't know him. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's fine. You don't have to know everybody, but I do know who he's talking about. And yes. And then I kind of explained who he was, and he's just like, oh, okay, well. And I'm like, yeah, you might have actually even worked with him on a production.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was on Supernatural and some of the shows that Corey would have been on. So yeah, he's been on many productions that I've been on, and I'm sure you as well. So yeah, the one thing that came to mind partway through when we were talking about him being the former Grizzlies mascot, and I said, oh, that's pretty funny. Jason, who I do my podcast with on Monday, was a former Seahawks mascot. So now I've had 2 former mascots on the podcast. Who would have ever even thought that was ever going to be a possibility?
Yeah. I'm glad that you threw me in the mix there. That's actually pretty hilarious. But I do need to say that Trevin Jones actually did it better than I ever could. He was a very good mascot.
Yeah. Do you remember when we went to the college games? They had that little
Yep.
tournament where they had some 4 college teams from the U.S., men's and women's, and we got a chance to go see some of the games. He pulled that out of the mothballs, and he was able to be there for that tournament. And he said he hadn't put the suit on in 21 years, so he said it was pretty cool to relive it and get a chance to be the Super Grizz again.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I can't believe he still has the suit. I can't believe he still has the suit. That's actually pretty awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, he said it was amazing, and he was able to travel the world with it. They sent him to Japan. He was the mascot representative of the NBA for the very first international regular season game that the NBA ever held, which was in Tokyo, Japan. And he got to go there and represent the NBA. He said it was amazing. He also represented the NBA at the All-Star game in Cleveland in 97, and he won the mascot slam dunk contest there. And he said that was pretty sweet. That was pretty fun. Him and his buddy got the VIP treatment, and he got to go and check out all the All-Star festivities. He said it was incredible.
Oh, that is actually pretty cool. That is awesome. And I forgot about that. I forgot that he actually won the slam dunk competition amongst the mascots.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was a blast. I hope you get a chance to see it all in the coming weeks. Luckily, we're less than 2 weeks away from holidays. That's going to be nice. I need it. I'm wiped out these days. I'm feeling tired all the time, and it's going to be great to have a couple of weeks off for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing some people, some friends, some family that I haven't had the opportunity to see over the course of the year. I usually try to make that up during the Christmas break, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. Yeah. We're doing the podcast on Monday, and typically we're doing it during Monday Night Football. This is a NFC South matchup between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay is currently in first in the division with a 5-6 record. New Orleans comes in with a 4-8 record, but the Saints are kicking their butt right now. It's a little less than 7 minutes left. 16-3 for New Orleans, and Tampa Bay just can't seem to get much going on. I saw Tom Brady threw a pick. I saw a fumble by Rashad White, and those 2 turnovers were big. Taysom Hill had a big 30-yard touchdown catch for the lone touchdown in this game, and Andy Dalton's looking pretty good. He's been generating the offense and turning this on, and you said you weren't shocked because New Orleans seems to always beat Tampa Bay since Tom Brady's been there, but I was quite surprised. I thought Tampa Bay would come out and really put a whipping on them.
Yeah. I don't know. They just don't seem to be clicking this year. Like it's just like there just seems to be a disconnect. Part of that is definitely due to the fact that they can't run the ball at all. Like that's a major contributing factor to the fact that their offense is not very good.
Yeah.
Very stagnant. So
they just can't. Yeah, they can't seem to generate much at all. And I mentioned before the podcast started that Brady's been throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game, and I wouldn't think that would be the recipe that you'd want, but it's been strange. I was watching a bit of the Manning cast. Randy Moss was on. That was fun to watch a little bit of that. And Manning cast has always got a lot of entertaining guests and stuff. But 5.5 minutes left. It sure looks like New Orleans is going to get their 5th win. And it looks like, Tampa will be losing their tight grip on that first place in the NFC South.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, though, with the respect that they're still, right now, as it stands before this game is over, they're in the lead.
Yeah.
with a
Very
5-6
weird.
record.
5-6, yeah, crazy.
Oof.
Yeah, yes, both Southern divisions this year in the AFC and NFC are weak, and yeah, a lot of bad teams in the South this year for some weird reason. The playoff standings are really starting to come into shape. The NFC's definitely got the best teams in the league right now. We got Philly at 11-1 and Minnesota at 10-2. San Fran is leading their division at 8-4, and as I mentioned, Tampa's ahead in theirs at 5-6. Dallas is 9-3, a couple games back of Philly still, but really solidified their place in a wild card position. And then the two wild card teams that are in right now are the New York Giants at 7-4-1 and Seattle at 7-5. The Giants in Washington had a tie. First time since 1997 there was a tie in the NFC East, and that game was pretty bizarre and weird. Both teams had tons of opportunities to try to break the tie, but it was that kissing your sister. Nobody wants a tie. Everybody was like, are we happy about that? I don't think so. I'm not sure. But they get to play each other actually 2 weeks, or well, 1 week from this Sunday. So kind of a quirky scheduling matchup, has them facing each other twice in 3 weeks' time. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, that is weird, but it's kind of cool because that's definitely going to affect playoff positioning.
Yeah,
for the future. So that's going to be a game that matters for both teams.
That's true. Yeah, and the AFC obviously not as dominant this year, but we've got the four division leaders right now are Buffalo at 9-3, KC at 9-3, Baltimore at 8-4, and Tennessee in the South at 7-5. In the wild card positions currently, we've got Cincinnati at 8-4, Miami also at 8-4, and the Jets sitting at 7-5. New England and the Chargers are in the hunt at 6-6, but both of them fading and not looking great right now. Rest of the conference doesn't look like they're going to make a push for the playoffs, but there was a lot of amazing action, a lot of great things. Some of the most important stories of the weekend, though, were quarterback injuries. We saw the biggest one is Jimmy Garoppolo out for the season with a broken foot, and he will have to undergo surgery. And Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy was put in as his replacement. The very last pick of the 2022 draft, 7th round, 41st in the round, 262nd overall. A guy that's actually probably not supposed to ever see the field to play, being the third string quarterback. He came in and he actually played pretty good. I don't think we're going to see him playing great as the rest of the year goes, but are the Niners good enough to still go on a run with Brock Purdy under the center here?
I don't know. We don't have a big enough sample size. We don't know what the kid can do. Yeah. Usually, though, when you have a third string quarterback, you go, well, that's that then. That's over. All right. Golfing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But we don't know what he can do. So they're going to have to give him a game or two to see if he can, step up and fill the shoes. Yeah. Maybe he can. Maybe. Or maybe the 49ers go and get Baker Mayfield, who's going to be waived here pretty quick by the Panthers if he hasn't already been waived.
Yeah, they did waive him today. Okay. He will go through waivers. There's talk about a few teams interested in him. His numbers are just horrifically bad this year. He was 1-5, 6 TDs with 6 picks, and a quarterback rating of 17 or something like that. Just horrifically bad. I think the maybe the worst quarterback this season that's actually had any snaps. And so I don't know if he's the answer. Um, you're going with Brock Purdy, who you just kind of said, I don't know, who are we going to pick? This last guy, I don't know. Do you want to just throw a dart at a board and like it's weird. Imagine being the agent of Mr. Irrelevant and trying to get a contract out of the Niners. I don't know what he's getting paid. I don't know if anybody expected him to ever take the field in his life, but this is weird. You'd think that they probably will take a flyer on Baker and see if he can be he can do something. Jimmy G was never a guy that they relied on. He was a winner and he just did enough, but this is a team that you don't really have to rely on a quarterback to win and go far.
Basically, what they need from whoever takes over is to manage the game. That they just need a guy to manage the game and not turn over the ball. You'd bring in a guy like Baker Mayfield, wild card. Yeah. He might just gotta go off and do his own thing. So you don't know if you want to bring in a guy like that. You really gotta think hard if you want to bring in a guy like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, also Lamar Jackson was hurt over the weekend. Possibility of Baker going there. Trevor Lawrence got a knee injury. Both Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence supposedly not too serious, but they're waiting for some swelling to go down in both cases and see if they're able to play this week or they hold them out for a week to fully get back from the injuries. Lamar Jackson was an ankle injury, and Tyler Huntley came in and actually played pretty damn good as well. I was pretty impressed with him, and I think it might be smart to just let him get at it. And I don't know. I think Baker Mayfield shouldn't play the rest of the year, and I don't see a lot of teams taking a flyer on him. He hasn't really looked good in this latest stint, and he didn't look good in his last season with Cleveland either. So this could be it for him.
Yeah, no, he doesn't look great in a Panthers uniform. He just hasn't looked great, period. You know what I mean? Like he does not look good at all. And also too, sometimes with that Baker Mayfield, you've heard stories of like how he's in the locker room. Like if you have aspirations of going to the playoffs or maybe making a deep run, I don't know if you need a guy like that as part of your right now.
Yeah, but when you're down to your third string quarterback, you might just want to have a backup just in case. Maybe your quarterback gets knocked out for a few plays, or there's something going on. We saw the Eagles. They were on their playoff run with Carson Wentz, who was good back then, and he got hurt. And Nick Foles came in and took them and won a Super Bowl for them. So. You're gonna need somebody to be the backup. I don't know if they got some guys from the practice squad that they can bring up, but it's weird. Kind of good timing in a way for Baker to be released. He asked for it. They granted it to him. Might be good because there are some quarterbacks banged up, and it's just inevitable. That's a position that everybody on that defense is trying to crush and hurt, not maybe necessarily hurt, but just try to bring them down. And there have been a lot of quarterbacks every season that go down. And San Francisco, Trey Lance was supposed to be the guy this year, hurt first game. Jimmy G comes in, great season so far. Now he's hurt, and they turn to this guy, Brock Purdy. Great game, but I think once teams sort of have some tape on him and get an idea what he's good at and what he's not good at, I think they'll exploit that pretty big time.
Yeah, they'll definitely take advantage of him in that respect. And it would be horrible, actually, if Brock Purdy got hurt too as well. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, I guess you got a receiver going in there for quarterback.
Yeah,
would not be good. Be good.
Well, we saw that a little bit in the COVID season where
Yes.
teams, I think one team had all three quarterbacks go down with COVID and they had to use a running back. And yeah, it was just craziness. They barely threw the ball the whole entire game, and it was bizarre. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I think teams have till tomorrow around noon to claim him off waivers and try to sign him to a deal. So we'll see how that pans out. Why don't we just start right at the top of that NFC East, and we'll talk about the Eagles. They still are the top team record-wise. Had another convincing win, 11-1 on the season, and just seeming to be able to be just grinding ahead on all, firing on all cylinders. Jalen Hurts wasn't running much, but he sure was passing a lot. He really had a great day with 380 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and he got a touchdown running, but didn't carry the ball a lot. But the other thing was AJ Brown got to go back and get some revenge on his former team, the Titans. Eagles won 35-10, and AJ Brown was phenomenal. 8 catches, 119 yards, and a couple TDs. And I think the Titans were like, we really, really screwed up and let this guy go.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, wow. I didn't realize it, but he's actually pretty good. Did you guys know that? He was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, duh.
Oh man,
really?
so dumb. Yeah,
So
unbelievable.
especially the one catch that he had, was one touchdown catch, where basically he tricked the DB. The DB didn't know the ball was coming in. He just didn't really make a move until he goes, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And the defensive back was literally right there.
Right there, yeah. Blanket coverage.
Blanket coverage. Didn't matter. He just goes, oh. And he goes, hey man, good try.
Yeah. I loved it when I looked at the stats, and Brown had 119 yards. The entire Titans wide receiver core had 41. Brown had 2 touchdowns. They had 1. He was able to just he had 8 catches. They had 4. So it was just he's better than the entire wide receiving core that the Titans have put in place since he's been there. That must have been tough for Titans fans, and really they were not in this game much. Derrick Henry was shut down again, only had 30 yards rushing, and the only touchdown that the Eagles actually gave up was to Treylon Burks coming across the middle, catching it. But he left the game immediately with a concussion. They made sure that he felt it, he heard, and he better not do that again to them.
Yeah, exactly. Like he paid for that. You paid for that touchdown catch, right? No. Oh, yeah. And I wanted to add to what you were saying. So the whole receiving core for the Titans had four catches. Is that what you just said? Yeah. So the second guy for the Eagles had 5 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. So that's how good that receiving core is.
Yeah, it's just it was a mismatch big time, and the Eagles flexed their muscles, and it was not even close. The Eagles go to the Meadowlands to face the Giants this Sunday, early window, and the Titans host the 4-8 Jags. So Titans still remain on top of their division, but only at 7-5. They'll be making the playoffs, but they're not. They're not the same type of team that we saw last year. Who they were the top team in the conference and went in looking great. Derrick Henry was hurt at the end of last year, but he made it back for the playoffs. But he just wasn't quite the same as he was during the regular season. So, the Titans have lost a lot, and AJ Brown was the biggest reason why they're not an elite team right now.
Oh yeah, it's very obvious. They just don't have an elite receiver, which they did have, and then they let that guy just walk away. So. Good on you, Titans. Way to go. Great general manager. Yep.
Good stuff. Crazy. Okay. Second team in the NFC East is the Dallas Cowboys, sitting at 9-3, and they hosted the Colts in the Sunday nighter, and this was a blowout. I talked about the Eagles blowing out the Titans, but this was a blowout. This is probably the biggest blowout of the season in any game. Dallas scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. It is the second most any team has scored in the fourth quarter in NFL history. So they just put an absolute massive stomping on them. The Jeff Saturday honeymoon is over. It's over. They were happy he was there. They played way above their level. And then Dallas said, we're going to squash you down to where you actually belong. And 54-19, like this game was crazy.
It was close though. Going into the fourth, like it was close, but you're just like, oh, it's pretty competitive. No, it's not. It was just an onslaught of offense by the Cowboys, and then it was just like the game is over, done and done. Like it was just, yeah, I was super impressed. And Dak Prescott, he really didn't actually do that much. His numbers weren't actually that impressive. 20 of 30, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns though, 1 interception. Like he didn't need to do that much. No. He didn't need to do that much. But the running attack was fantastic. Pollard again leading the charge, 12 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zeke Elliott, good game. 17 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown himself. So yeah.
I've been championing for Pollard to be the starting running back. And while Zeke's been healthy, Zeke's always been that starting running back. Finally, the Cowboys put Pollard in as the starting running back. And he was, he's such a difference maker. You got that thunder and lightning approach. I love it. I think the Cowboys really have an opportunity to go far as long as they're sort of sharing the duties between the guys. But I want Pollard as your lead back, getting those, first down, second down, third down. Most of the time, Zeke can come in there, short yardage situations, some of the other run pass options, and contribute, get touchdowns, still get yardage. But Pollard to me is the way better option.
I agree with you. Like he's got it. He's got it, and I think the passing torch has to happen right now, which I believe it is finally. And then also too, Elliott's still great in short yardage situations, so that's where you should use it, and that's where he's best at. That's where he shines.
Yeah, third and fourth down and stuff. Yeah, they had 4 touchdowns on the ground and 3 touchdowns through the air. CD Lamb, the touchdown the CD Lamb had was phenomenal. He just had such body awareness. The tackle was attempted. The guy had him, rolled over on him, and then CD realized, hey, I didn't touch the ground, and just broke the tackle and ran it in. One of the most spectacular touchdowns of the weekend for sure.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. It was awesome, and like you said, the body awareness of going, oh, I'm not down. I'm just gonna keep going then.
Yeah, nice. That was impressive. I think everybody was like, "What?" He expected him down, and he wasn't, and he was able to get into the end zone. Michael Gallup, a couple touchdowns. This team is firing on offense like I've never seen, and on defense too. This defensive team is so stacked. I'm just shocked at how incredible their defense are. They forced 4 straight turnovers in that fourth quarter, and Matt Ryan was picked off by Darren Bland twice. Malik Hooker had another and a scoop and score fumble. And this team, it's crazy that the 2 best teams right now, it's seeming like in the league, seem to be in the same division, same conference, Eagles and Cowboys. And it's going to be fun to watch going down the stretch between these 2 teams.
Nobody would have ever thought that the Eagles and Cowboys would be your 2 front runners as the best teams possibly in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nobody had that. Nobody saw that coming.
No, definitely shocked. Yeah. And Dallas, guess who they get next? Worst team in football, Houston. So you can pretty much put it in pen, 10-3, going down. And the Colts get a bye next week, and they face Minneapolis in week 15. So and the other two teams in the NFC East played each other. It was the Giants and the Commanders. Mentioned it briefly off the top. This was the first tie in the NFC East since 1997, and that was a 7-7 snoozer between Washington and New York. This one was a little more exciting, but I hate ties. Oh man, this should never happen in football. I just can't stand them. I think the Giants were actually even playing for a tie in overtime. I was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Why are you doing this? This game didn't really have tons of standout. It was just sort of one of those blah games that really never mounted to anything where you were like, oh, okay, good for them. Nobody left happy, I don't think.
No, it's a tie. It's a tie. You watch these games to see somebody win. I go, sweet, what a great tie. That was amazing. No, man, like you want to see a win. But it makes it a lot more interesting when they meet up again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then now you've got yourself a game that really, really means something for the playoff implications.
That's true. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it sure does. It definitely keeps them really tight together, and it'll mean a ton. I think whoever wins that game probably makes the playoffs. I would put a lot of money down on that as the one team that becomes the front runner. Daniel Jones was pretty efficient. 25 for 31, only 6 incompletions on the day, 200 yards and a touchdown. And also ran for 71 yards on the ground. Saquon is getting stuffed a little bit the last few weeks. He was dynamic and amazing in the first half of the season. And I don't know, something they might be keying on him. They might have figured him out. He's not as dynamic as he was. He did get a touchdown, but I'm not seeing the same Saquon what we saw earlier in the year.
No, I'm not seeing that either. He's just not as productive. I think personally the defenses are keying in on the run game a lot more against the Giants because I think they're figuring out if we can shut him down, we kind of shut down the Giants offense because a lot of it's predicated off of the running attack. And so if you can shut down that one guy, it kind of limits the Giants in their offense.
Yeah. Taylor Heineke was pretty decent again, pretty decent numbers. Brian Robinson, I really like this guy. He had close to 100 yards on the ground, and Scary Terry McLaurin had a good day, 115 yards and a touchdown on 8 catches. It didn't really put a front runner in front of us, but I guess we just got to wait 2 weeks. Really close. Holy cow. Can you believe this? I turned away. I didn't see this, but the Bucks have just tied it with 3 seconds left. It is 16 all, and somehow they had an 11-play drive, 63 yards, 2.5 minutes, and with 3 seconds left, they're about to try an extra point to win the game. I don't know how they turn this around. Oh, there's a flag on the kick. The kick is good, but there's a flag on the play. We'll see what the referees come up with. I don't know if there was an onside kick maybe that they got, but I don't know how they scored. Got two scores like this so late in the game.
Well, here's what's that? What is it? What is it?
Let me see here. I don't know if he's made a call. They're going over to Tampa to talk to the coach. Let's see. He's about to make an announcement here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Tampa won.
Tampa won? It's good.
Tampa won. Yeah, it's good.
Here's the thing that we sometimes forget. It's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Tom Brady. Yeah, and so he did it again.
Wow, amazing. I was just fully into our conversation and I didn't turn and look, and then I just saw something with the corner of my eye, saw Tom jumping around, and they have pulled off an incredible comeback here. We've seen Brady pull off amazing comebacks, but this one, I really got to watch again and see. He hit
But like,
Rashad White with a short, looks like about a 10-yard pass, and White put it in. 3 seconds to go, and and Tampa got the win. Holy cow! 6-6 on the year, and making New Orleans fall to 4-9. And wow, that was yeah, that's incredible. What a finish! Fourth
yeah,
quarter, Tom Brady was 15 for 21, 125 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you can never count that guy out, I guess, as we have said many times before.
yeah, and also too, these are the times that he lives for. That's why he said, "Screw the marriage, don't need it. This is what I need. This is what keeps me going."
Yeah, he definitely has said that, and yeah, well, yeah, I think Tampa Bay, because they're in that division, they're going to make the playoffs, and look out. They
Yeah.
said that was the latest go-ahead touchdown pass of his entire career. That's
Wow.
crazy. That's a stat that I would have never, ever, ever guessed.
Yeah, because considering how many times he's done it,
Yeah.
which is a lot, like that I never would have thought that either. I never would have thought that. But then again, hey, just adds to the legend of I'm the best. Nobody is ever going to be better than me. That's why I keep coming back to play. To really put a stamp on it.
Oh man, Tampa's doing their laterals. I mean, New Orleans is doing their laterals and trying, and it looks like they've been tackled. Alvin Kamara was tackled, and yeah, game over. Wow, that's amazing. That is shocking. I can't wait to see the replay. I'm gonna rewind it once we're done here and watch that. But yeah, chalk up another big accomplishment for Tom Brady in this illustrious career he's had.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to ever want to end.
No.
Ever.
Yeah.
Shoot, you might be playing until he like 30-year career. 30.
3-1 in the division, 6-6 overall. Falcons are 5-8, 1-2 in the division, and yeah, starting to get a little bit of a stranglehold on this NFC South. So yeah, okay, well, let's get back to talking about some of the games on Sunday. Let's turn to the NFC West now. The 49ers, we talked a little bit about this. They lost Jimmy Garoppolo early, and in comes Brock Purdy. As I mentioned, last draft pick in the 2022 draft. They call that Mr. Irrelevant. I guess I would hate that nickname. Not really trying to clamor to get that, but you've been drafted in the NFL. Hey, that's something to brag about, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because you actually accomplished the dream. You're in, right? You're in, and now you've accomplished another dream, which is now you've gotten a shot. Right. You got a shot, right? And he's playing well.
You gotta win. He's playing well. His numbers were great. Read off his numbers. Great numbers.
25 of 37, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And also, too, on top of that, he's got weapons everywhere.
Yeah.
He's got to know that you got Christian McCaffrey, 17 carries, 66 yards, 8 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah. Deebo Samuel, 6 receptions for the 58 yards. And, like, you have all of these guys around you, and you have one heck of a defense backing you up. Like, if you're Brock Purdy and you come into a situation, you couldn't ask for a better situation. You literally could not ask for a better situation.
Yeah, that's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is those first overall picks are going to the worst teams. They're going to the teams that are absolutely brutal. And most of the time, they're brutal because of super bad ownership, super bad management, really toxic cultures. And they got to come in there, and they've been winners their whole entire life. And now they got to suck, and they got to try to, pull this franchise out of the hell that they've been in the last few years and try to win. When you're drafted one of the last picks, in a draft, you're going to one of the best teams, and you're going to a situation where they've got weapons, they've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle. They just need one or two last ones to win that title. And sometimes I think it might be better to be that guy that's fallen down a little bit in that draft, so you get to go to a team that's good already.
Yeah, because hold on a second. Wasn't there a guy that got picked really late and always had that chip on his shoulder? What was his name? Tom Brady. That's right. That's right. Fifth or sixth round, I believe he got picked, right?
Yeah, way down.
Way down there.
Yeah.
So, Brock Purdy, this is your chance. It's possible.
This is the next Tom Brady. Jason's calling it. Next Tom Brady.
Gonna be.
This is it. This is the guy. Yeah, this is the next guy. The chip's got to be massive on his shoulder. Mr. Irrelevant. I'll show you. Here we go. But like you say, look at McCaffrey. 25 touches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. That weapon was so smart for them to go out and get. And Deebo Samuel had a little bit of a contract squabble with the Niners in the offseason. He didn't really want to be that Swiss Army knife, didn't want to be that guy that ran the ball as much. He wanted to be the star receiver. So they said, okay, well, we'll just go get the perfect guy. He loves it. He loves touching the ball. Doesn't matter if it's out of the backfield, if it's catching, he'll do it all. Debo's been like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have complained so much because they got a guy to replace me possibly here now. But the weapons that they have and that defense. 49ers picked off 3 passes from Tua, and their defense is just as good as their offense. So look out. This team might not lose a lot losing Jimmy G, amazingly enough.
No, they might not lose too much at all. All Purdy's got to do is just manage the game well. Yeah, hopefully, and not turn over the ball. If he can do that, I think the 49ers still got a really good chance.
Yeah. Sorry, Tua, I said 3 interceptions off you. One was off the wide receiver, Skylar Thompson. Don't know what the heck happened there. He comes in, throws one ball, throws a pick, and really probably got demoted to the bench. I don't know. I didn't see that play. I don't know what happened. Did you see Skylar Thompson coming in and throwing a pick? I didn't see it.
I missed it. I did not see that, but you know what? He probably just went going for glory. Oh, picked off.
Yeah. Earlier we talked about AJ Brown and having a revenge game against the Titans. The Niners had a couple of guys that were in San Fran for the Dolphins had a few guys that were in San Fran the last few years and are running backs now for them. Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson both played with the Niners the last few years. They didn't get too much opportunity to rub it in the face, but on the other side of the ball for Miami, Trent Sherfield was a Niner until he moved on, and he had the first play of the game handed off to him, and he ran it 75 yards for a touchdown. And that was like immediate revenge. That was pretty awesome to see. And you're like, whoa, Miami's up, boom, here we go. And the rest of the day wasn't that pretty for them.
No. The rest of the day was tough sledding. It was tough sledding for sure. But Tua, he did have the 2 interceptions, but he did throw for 2 touchdowns. And Tyreek Hill had a big game. Yeah. Big game, man. Yeah, Dolphins didn't win, but Tyreek Hill had a huge game. 9 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown. So the 49ers stopped them in a lot of different areas, but they did not stop Tyreek Hill.
You can't stop Tyreek Hill. You really can't. That guy's just, too fast, too talented, and but they bottled up the rest of the team, and they said, okay, let Tyreek just go off, but let nobody else do anything, and we got this, and sure enough, they do. Now they're 8-4, and they host the Bucs next Sunday afternoon, 1:25 kickoff Pacific time. Dolphins fall to 8-4. and they go to LA to play the Chargers, and that's the Sunday nighter, this coming Sunday, the late game. So interesting. Okay, turning to the rest of the NFC West, the Seahawks sit in second place in the NFC West. They are 7-5. They beat their division rival, the Rams, 27-23. Geno Smith, man, like they got to be so happy they got rid of Russell Wilson and put in Geno Smith. This is a genius move by Pete Carroll and the management team. And he had another absolutely massive game, 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, and just throw it to Lockett, throw it to Metcalf, throw it to Lockett, throw it to Metcalf all game, and you're going to win games and you're going to make the playoffs. Seattle having a great year, and Geno looking amazing again.
Yeah, he looked absolutely amazing. And the Rams, yeah, well, it's too bad for them. But Seahawks looked fantastic. Lockett, 9 receptions, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Metcalf, 8 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, and you're exactly right. Like, it was just Lockett, Metcalf, Lockett, Metcalf, Lockett, Metcalf. Fans, every once in a while. Oh, and he got a touchdown too. 4 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. And yeah, man, Geno Smith, who knew? I guess Pete Carroll knew. Yeah. Pete Carroll knew. It's like, yeah, I don't think Russ has it anymore. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I think we're gonna use this guy now. We're gonna use this guy.
Fooled everybody. Nobody knew, and nobody gave them any shot of doing anything this year. And they're really a front runner for the playoffs and looking great. The only thing that was tough was Kenneth Walker, the third, left the game with an ankle injury, and he didn't return. Not sure about his status. Didn't sound like it's super serious, but they've been decimated with the running back injuries in the past couple seasons here. And Tony Jones Jr. came in, finally had an opportunity. DJ Dallas was playing, but he actually got a little banged up as well. And that's the only tough thing that's happening with this Seattle Seahawks offense is their running attack isn't there because they just haven't been able to stay healthy.
Yeah, their running backs just keep getting taken out, which is making it a little bit tougher. But, you know, at the same time, Geno Smith is still holding it down, still playing fantastic football.
Yeah. This was a revenge game for Bobby Ingram. He came back and played pretty damn good, but in a losing effort. Speaking of injuries, the Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford was placed on the injured reserve. John Wolford's now the quarterback for possibly the rest of the season. We'll see how he fares. He was pretty average, throwing a couple picks. And this team is sunk. This will be the first Super Bowl team in a long, long time that the following season they will not finish 500. And this is just falling off the rails for the Rams. Nobody really expected this happening either for them.
No, nobody expected it. I know I most certainly didn't expect it. It just kind of spiraled. And I think it started with Stafford and the preseason, like he's got some sort of lingering injury with his arm or whatever. I don't think he was ever good from that. I don't think he ever really recovered from that. Sure. And I think it definitely affected him as the season went on. So,
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. The only bright spot for them in this game was Cam Akers with a couple touchdowns. But this is a lost season for the Rams. And they will not be making the playoffs this year. They host the Raiders on the Thursday nighter, so just a few days away for that game. Seattle hosts Carolina, the late window on Sunday. In the NFC West, the Cardinals are sitting at 4-8. They had a bye this week, and they host the Patriots on the Monday nighter, December the 12th. So we'll see them in action then. And the Broncos are holding up the rear. Jesus Christ, it is so bad in Denver. Like, this has to be if it if it's this bad, this could go down as the worst trade ever made and the worst extension signing to a quarterback. They can't score 10 points a game, and even with Lamar Jackson getting hurt, this team loses. It is getting worse and worse and worse there in Denver, and they have made a very, very, very big mistake getting Russell Wilson here, and he can't do anything. He just hasn't been able to do anything this year.
Yeah, it's super impressive. 9 points. Super impressive. Like, it's just
no touchdowns. Yeah, like
no touchdowns. It's just so the Ravens the Broncos were up 9-3, but the Ravens knew, Huntley knew, all I'm gonna do is score a touchdown, win the game. These guys are not going to score.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Oh my God, just crazy. Like just insane. And I mentioned it earlier. Huntley actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, Huntley looked great. 27-32, 187 yards, 10 carries, 41 yards with the lone touchdown of the game.
Yeah.
Scored it at the end of the game for the go-ahead. And Russ had a chance at the end to try to kick a 63, like he set it up for a 63-yard field goal. By the way, didn't get his kicker a chance.
No,
didn't get to a 50 or anything else. 63 yards.
Yeah, that's
the best you can do. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, and the kicker's like, you're blaming it on me? Like, come on, get it closer. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the hell? Yeah, no, it's bad there. It is rough. I don't know what this team's going to do. I saw the difference between the offense that Russell was leaving with Metcalf and Lockett in Seattle and what he was going to down in Denver. And I thought, wow, Geno Smith sure got a lot more weapons than Russ has got, but I didn't see it being this bad. I thought Russell Wilson would be able to, get at least this team to 500 or better. And this is just becoming just incredible. I think I don't remember seeing Denver this bad in a very, very, very long time.
And the thing is that people
Their defense
forget
is good.
Yes, exactly. The defense of Denver Broncos is excellent.
Yeah.
Like I said before, if the Broncos could score 20 points, this reverses everything.
Yeah.
And they can't even do that. Like, if I'm part of the Broncos defense, I'm like, well, what else you want us to do, man? Not let them score ever? That's where we're at right now. Not let the other team ever score.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's pathetic, and that's got to be some of the conversations. It's got to be the locker room has to be fractured because defense is playing great and giving them all the chances that they can, but when you can't even score 10 points, like, you're not going to win an NFL game.
No, you can't win an NFL game, and Russ is figuring that out, even though he was incredibly efficient. 17 of 22, 189 yards. Okay, but it didn't do anything.
No.
Thanks.
Not good. And this Sunday they're bringing in the Chiefs. So just chalk up another loss. It's gonna get even worse there. 3-10 will be the record after that one, and this is a loss season there. I'm not sure how they're going to turn this around, but I don't think Hackett will be there. I think a lot of this team will get blown up. They're sort of stuck with Russ. $230 million for 5 years. He's there. They better figure out a way to surround some people around him so that he can at least get 20 points a game.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure it out. I'm pretty sure the head coach is gone. They're getting a new head coach. All right. Because just as you said, Russ is not going anywhere. They're stuck with him. It is what it is now. And they're just going to have to work around whatever he can provide.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully Lamar Jackson isn't seriously hurt, and he can get back at it. From what I hear is it's not super serious, and they're going to be able to release something on Wednesday, they said. once they do all the scans and they the swelling goes down, and they were able to really check him out. But I think that scared a lot of Ravens fans when he went down, for sure.
Of course it does. You never want to see your premier quarterback go down with any sort of injury. But it's good to hear that it doesn't seem like it's too serious.
Yeah. Okay, let's turn to the NFC North. The Vikings are currently running away with the division with 10-2 record. Second seed in the NFC. And they beat the New York Jets yesterday 27-22 in a game that was surprisingly a lot closer than a lot of people expected. Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, and Justin Jefferson had the TDs. I was pretty impressed with the Jets, giving them a really good run for their money. Mike White again had good yardage numbers, but no passing touchdowns, and that was just all he needed was one passing touchdown, and they win this game. He threw a couple picks. Garrett Wilson was great, and they had a good running attack, but just not able to push it over the edge. And Minnesota's won so many games this year by one score, and this is another one. They were able to stave off the Jets and get a victory.
Yeah, they were able to stave off the Jets. Cousins just did just enough, 21-35, 173 yards and a touchdown, which was to Justin Jefferson. They just did enough. Yeah. The one thing that is definitely been different with the Jets that I've noticed, I don't think the team was I don't think they liked Zach Wilson. No. I don't think they liked him at all. Because what I saw leading up to this game, before the game, a lot of the Jets players had Mike White T-shirts on.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, they literally had Mike White T-shirts on. So you're talking about a guy in the locker room that clearly players like.
Nice.
Mike White, as opposed to a guy that the players absolutely hated, which was Zach Wilson. So there's definitely a difference there.
Yeah.
And also too, well, just look at his numbers. Like he's playing a heck of a lot better than Wilson ever played.
Yeah,
period.
He's playing great. 2 weeks in a row, great numbers, and I think they should have made that move a long time ago. They are still 7-5, and looking like they really could make the playoffs this year. But I've been impressed with Mike White, and it's good to see the team rally around him. This is great.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I think that's fantastic that the team is rallying around him, and possibly, we don't know this, but maybe the team was rallying for him even before all of this stuff with Wilson. Like maybe they were like, maybe we should put the other guy in that we actually like.
Yeah, exactly. They are in tough this coming week, though. They play the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, all New York matchup. And the Vikings go to Detroit to play their division rival. And speaking of the Lions, they've suddenly won 4 of their last 5. They scored on 9 consecutive possessions on Sunday and blew out the Jags. Great numbers from almost everybody on the Lions. And these are 2 teams that were both at the bottom last year, and the Jags are still kind of down there, but the Lions are really looking great on offense. And this game, they even were able to hold the Jags down to only 14 points, get a big 40-14 win.
Yeah, they had a huge win. Goff looked great. 31-41, 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of those passes went to St. Brown, 11 receptions, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, the Lions, it feels like to me they're ready to turn that curve. Like I think next season, it's basically what's holding them back right now is their defense. They need pieces to their defense for sure. But their offense, they can put points on the board, right? So I feel that they're getting there. They're getting to the point where they can turn that curve. And also, too, like I said about Dan Campbell, the team likes their coach, love their coach. They play hard for that coach. And any man that cries as much as he did last season, well, he cares.
Yeah, he
You know
cares.
he cares, and
Yeah.
you know that the players respect that because he cares so damn much.
Yeah,
So I think,
seems like the players love him.
yeah,
They sure seem to love him there, and I'm glad the management gave him an opportunity to keep running it back.
exactly. And I think, next season the Lions might be making some noise.
Yeah, it's one thing about the NFL that bothers me is they have the trade deadline so early in the season because I think Lions would be buyers. The Lions would go out and fill those defensive holes that they would because they're like, hey, 4 out of 5. All we got to do is just pass a couple teams and we can get a playoff position. And then if we're on a really good roll, look at our offense. Not too many teams are going to be able to match up to our offense. If we can just plug the holes that we have on defense, this team could go far. But now they just got to wait another year and another
Yeah.
year. And I don't understand why the NFL doesn't put the trade deadline a lot closer because you'd have a lot more buyers and sellers near the end there instead of near the middle of the season where teams not really sure what they got.
Exactly, like because they don't know if they have enough to make some noise in the playoffs or not because they just don't have enough of a sample size. So yeah, I agree with you. The trade deadline should be a lot later in the
year. Yeah. I also love the Lions running attack. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams both carrying the ball about the same time. They both had touchdown runs, and Swift has had some injuries this year, but he's looking like he's healthy now. And this is a team that they're fun to watch. I'm really excited about this team in the coming years when they do plug in the holes, and I'm sure they're going to draft a lot on the defensive side and try to get some more people in there. But this team's heading in the right direction. The Jags, after Trevor Lawrence had that phenomenal game last week, you kind of thought, okay, he's turned this corner. You and I talked about that. Just didn't look as good this past week. He did get a little banged up and had to leave the game. Here it's not serious, but another quarterback banged up and had to leave. We'll see them back to the drawing board. They go to Tennessee to play the Titans next Sunday, and the Lions host the Vikings, as I mentioned earlier. So the other two NFC North teams, the Packers and the Bears, faced each other. The Green Bay Packers made a huge comeback and won 28-19. This super rookie Christian Watson had another two touchdowns to continue his amazing run. That's 8 touchdowns over the last 4 games. And I guess Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. He has said it and he has shown it. And he is 25-5 as a starter against Chicago in his career. And he said it last year, I own you. He didn't quite do it this year. He did a little bit of a salute, but Chicago just cannot seem to beat Aaron Rodgers these days.
Yeah, no, they can't. And you know what? The Packers needed a win. So I guess the Bears was a perfect matchup for them. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I think we can beat these guys.
Yeah.
Even considering the fact that Fields actually had a pretty good game, unfortunately, 2 picks,
Yeah.
20-25, 254 yards, 6 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown. The one thing that's incredible about Fields is that when he decides to take off, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone and nobody catches him. Like that one run that he had was for the touchdown was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It looked like he got out of a cannon.
Yeah, he's so quick. And I was surprised that he actually played because he had that non-throwing separated shoulder and it was pretty serious. And he just sucked it up and played and showed that he's a warrior. And this is another team. You see the record. They're not good this year, but 3-10. But I can see some pieces in place that look like the future's pretty bright.
Yeah, absolutely. I see pieces in place. Fields actually, the way that he plays kind of reminds me of like your prototype, like Lamar Jackson, your Jalen Hurts. Like maybe this is the way that the league is going to go from now on in, where you have a quarterback that's like the dual threat. I can pass the ball, or I can run the ball. I can do both.
Yeah,
So
sure.
and it like for the Bears, he's highly effective doing both, obviously. But Christian Watson, wow,
Jeez.
wow, this guy has come out of nowhere. Maybe this is now Rodgers, as he's in the twilight of his career, saying, "This is my new stud receiver. This is the
Yeah.
guy that I can now count on going forward."
Took over for Davante, and I don't think anybody expected him to be this great. And yeah, he's starting to become the front runner for the rookie of the year for sure. And yeah, keeps punching it in. That end around play they had, 46-yard touchdown run, that was a phenomenal play. And he's got wheels. This kid's fast, very fast. This is the first time in 100 years that the Bears are no longer the winningest NFL team. The Green Bay Packers have 787 wins now, and Chicago has 786. Chicago has been that winningest team in football for 100 years, and Green Bay passed them. Kind of wild. These are the two oldest football teams, and Green Bay's always been lagging behind until Sunday. Green Bay is now considered the winningest NFL franchise of all time.
I did not know that. I did not know that. I guess pedigree matters though in these kind of numbers since they've been around the longest. So yeah, that makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, pretty wild. The Packers are 5-8, still clawing for a playoff berth, not dead yet. They have a bye this week, and then they host the Rams on the Monday nighter, December the 19th. The Bears, as I said, they fall to 3-2. They also have a bye this week, and then in tough against the Eagles on December 18th. So looks like 3-11, good chance. So okay, NFC South. We talked about it off the Monday nighter. Tampa's now 6-6, and Saints fall to 4-9. The Bucks will play the Niners the late window on Sunday, and the Saints they host the Falcons. And that's their next battle. Speaking of the Falcons, they fell to 3-8 on the year with a 19-16 loss to the Steelers. The Steelers used a very run-heavy approach to grind out their second straight win and improve to 5-7. Both of those wins for the Steelers were on the road. A lot of people immediately said, "Oh, this looks like Tomlin's first ever losing record," but don't count them out yet. Steelers might be able to get to 500 and better. We'll see how it pans out. The Steelers, just did enough to beat those Falcons.
Yeah, they just did enough to beat them, even though the Falcons had a chance to possibly win the game at the end there. But Mariota threw the pick, and that was the end of that. So, I wasn't surprised. But
Hard to be a Falcons fan right now. I know you are, but this team is in serious rebuild mode.
yeah, they're in very serious rebuild mode. Pickett had, like you said, just did enough. 16-28, 197 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Very key. Najee Harris, 17 carries for 86 yards, and then I really actually like their tight end. And I got it. Freiermuth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Freiermuth. Yeah, he's good. I really like him, and it seems that him and Pickett have developed a good combination there. 3 receptions for 76 yards. Yeah. Steelers do enough. They do enough to get the win.
Yeah, and I like Najee Harris. I like that guy a lot. I think he's a guy that they'll be able to build around for many years to come. So, as I mentioned in the South, the Bucks are leading 6-6. Falcons sit at 5-8 in second place. Panthers are 4-8, and as we mentioned earlier, they released Baker Mayfield today. they will go with Sam Darnold and PJ Walker as their QBs for the rest of the season. And they sit 4-8. They have a bye, and oh no, they had a bye. Sorry, they had a bye this week, and they go into Seattle next week. And as I mentioned, the Saints fall to 4-9, and it's tough. They host Atlanta next, and the Steelers go to the Ravens. Okay, that's it for the NFC story. Let's turn to the AFC. We'll start with the East, and the Bills leading the way with the 9-3 record. They beat the Patriots 24-10 on Thursday. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Devin Singletary led the way as usual. New England fell to 6-6. They had Mac Jones, Marcus Jones, and Ramondre Stevenson leading the way for them, but not enough production. The Bills were able to get the 24-10 win on Thursday.
Yeah, Allen had a great game, 22 of 33, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. Diggs had a great game, 7 receptions, 92 yards, and 1 touchdown. The Bills handled the Patriots. The Bills defense limited the Patriots to just 10 points and made it easy for the Bills offense to get the points that they needed to get the win and cement the fact that the Bills still one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely. I think the class of the AFC, and looking great. And this team's super stacked, and with Josh Allen leading the way, Stephon Diggs another big game. This team has a lot of weapons and looking great. As I mentioned earlier, they host the Jets early window on Sunday, and the Patriots go to the Cards for the Monday nighter. So, and as I mentioned earlier, the Dolphins sit in second place in the division. They're entrenched in a wild card position, though. They are 8-4. They lost to the Niners. Jets are in third place at 7-5 after their loss to the Vikings. And that is the East there. Let's turn to the West. The Chiefs lead at 9-3. They lost to Cincinnati 27-24. Joe Burrow is 3-0 this year against the Kansas City Chiefs. Beat them January the 2nd, 34-31. January the 30th in the AFC Championship game, 27-24, and got another 27-24 victory yesterday. Joe Burrow, 3-0 over Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs this year, and seems to have their number. Great game, and the Chiefs didn't have an answer for Burrow.
No, they didn't have an answer. He played fantastic. 25 of 31, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 carries, 46 yards, and another touchdown. No turnovers.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
It's very clear to me that his offensive line is actually giving him the time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Which has been a very big deal for the entire team. Like if he has time to throw the ball, you got a great chance of winning.
Got a great chance, yeah. They were really happy to welcome Jamar Chase back after he missed 4 games with a hip injury. He had 7 catches for 97 yards. Samaje Perine has filled in really great for Mixon and has another 100-yard game. I'm impressed with Cincy. They did that run last year that a lot of people didn't expect, but this team seems to be rounding into good shape, and that was a big win over the Chiefs.
Huge win over the Chiefs. And again, the Cincinnati Bengals are they're creeping up there, kind of like your dark horse. You're just like, oh yeah, the Bengals. I totally forgot about them. They're kind of that team right now.
Yeah.
And this was a big win against the great team against the Chiefs. And again, it's amazing that Burrows has Mahomes' number. Probably the only guy, period, in the entire NFL that can boast and say, well, you can't beat me. Sorry, man.
Yeah. Pretty nice, yeah. Going into the game, I was looking up the stats for the Chiefs. They are leading the NFL in points per game to about 30 points per game. They've had 60 plays of more than 20 yards. They have 10 players with a receiving touchdown and 430 total yards a game. That's the highest in the Kansas City Chiefs team history. So I was like, oh, I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. After I saw those stats, I'm like, yeah, why would I go for Cincy? And I was wrong. The Chiefs, even though they lost Tyreek Hill, who we talked about earlier, they've been able to plug and play in a bunch more players, and they're still phenomenal in offense. They couldn't quite get it going as much as they normally did this game. Patrick Mahomes had a pretty good game, but just not up to his standards. Seems like every week we're like, oh, ho hum, another 300 and so yards, 3 touchdowns, but held in check a little bit this game.
Yeah, he was definitely held in check a little bit in this game. And since he showed their championship qualities against a very talented and tough Chiefs team, it's not, let's be honest, it's not easy to beat these guys.
No.
It just isn't. And the Bengals have now done it 3 times this year,
Amazing.
which is amazing.
Pretty incredible. Yeah, very incredible. Cincinnati hosts Cleveland and KC goes to Denver. So on and on. The Chargers and the Raiders clashed in an all AFC West battle. Vegas won this one 27-20. Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs. This was their show. It was like, okay, I'm either throwing it to Davante or I'm handing it to Josh. Back and forth, back and forth. Chargers just could not stop either guy, and they just produced so many yards and touchdowns. And this was, that was it. Raiders had a perfect game plan to beat the Chargers with this one.
Yeah, they sure did. They sure did. Carr apparently got the memo of, if you're gonna pass the ball, pass it to Davante, kind of all the time, if you can, all the time. Davante Adams had one of the most amazing catches that didn't count. I don't know if you saw that up against the sideline.
Toe on the sideline, yeah.
Yeah,
and he get that right toe down, but yeah, that was awesome catch, and it didn't count. But luckily, they just said, okay, line up on the other side. We'll throw it down that side, and you'll be able to get a touchdown next play.
Yeah, exactly. Right, it's. I am just always so impressed with Davante Adams. It's very good that the Packers got rid of him. Yeah, he's not very good. So Adams, 8 receptions, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jacobs, 26 carries, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. Get the ball in your best player's hands. Yeah. That's the mantra. That's what finally the Raiders have figured out, which is, okay, so just give it to Jacobs or pass it to Davante. Got it.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
Yeah, it was perfect game plan, I thought. Chargers just did not have an answer. Keenan Allen had a good game. Austin Eckler was good, but they just not on those same levels as Jacobs and Davante on this night, and really crushing defeat for the Chargers. We talked about them last year, just having so many tough losses, losing in overtime, losing right at the end of fourth quarters. And this is another one where you're like, oh man, this was not a game you were supposed to lose. You needed to win this. They're just clinging to being in the hunt for a playoff position, 6-6. And this is tough. I'm a Chargers fan. I really love what they've done and been able to put Herbert in place. They got a lot of weapons there, but these losses are hard on this Chargers fan base, and if they lose a couple more of these, they're going to be on the outside looking in for the playoffs.
Yeah, again, outside looking in again, and it's not like Herbert had a bad game. 28 of 47, 335 yards and a touchdown. He just needed a couple more. I wish his defense would help him out a little bit more, but they are banged up as well. Yeah. Right. So it's the same old song and dance. They're close. but just not close enough.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Chargers host the Dolphins for the Sunday nighter, as I mentioned earlier, and the Raiders go to LA. Another LA team to play the Rams, and that's the Thursday nighter. So we'll see that one coming up. As I mentioned earlier, the Broncos, they're falling down and not looking good. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, Broncos, they will host the Chiefs, as I mentioned, and then Ravens. They got the nice win. They remain on the top of the AFC North, 8-4, and they are first because of their head-to-head record with Cincy. Ravens go to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers in the early window. So, okay, we mentioned Russell Wilson in that absolutely stupid, horrible, terrible contract. The Browns are competing for the worst contract ever in NFL history. 230 million guaranteed to Deshaun Watson. And after 700 days not playing football, he finally was under center for the Browns. The 12th game of the season after an 11-game suspension, and he looked terrible. He looked bad. This game was weird because Cleveland gets the victory, 27-14, no offensive touchdowns. This Texans team just sets new futility marks. Didn't allow a touchdown on offense, but lost 27-14 still. Pretty nuts game, pretty brutal.
If Watson's ever going to come back to an NFL game after 700 days, this is the game you come back to. This is it. Because this is the game where you go, even if I'm garbage, we'll probably still win. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. The Houston fans that he left booed him mercilessly. They would not stop booing him every time he came onto the field, every time he touched the ball. They are not fans of him anymore.
No, and as they shouldn't be. As they shouldn't be. He is rightfully booed. And he'll probably be booed in the Texan Coliseum for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He left them high and dry, and they went through a lot of problems there. Kyle Allen, the Texans quarterback, had maybe even worse of a game than Deshaun had. 3 turnovers, 2 picks and a fumble on his own, 4 turnovers total. And this was one of those weird games. Texans are definitely drafting number 1 overall. Heisman Trophy winner, just get ready. You're going to Houston next year.
Yay. If I'm him, I'm like, I can't wait to lose.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah, it's bad there. Yeah, it's bad. So Texans go to Dallas. Dallas is getting a big layup win there. And Cleveland goes to Cincy in tough against the Bengals, as we mentioned. Okay, just to finish off, we'll go to the AFC South. We covered the division leading Titans, lost to the Eagles, but still remain in first at 7-5. Colts are second place with a 4-8-1 record. They looked okay early, but then just got smoked by the Cowboys. The Jags looked terrible against Detroit, and they sit third at 4-8. And the Texans, this team is pathetic. So, for me, that's the NFL story. My hero of the week in the NFL has to be AJ Brown, being able to go back and just rub it in the face of those Titans that let him go. Had such a phenomenal game. A couple guys had maybe better numbers, but what a great performance. And that must have been so great for him to say, look at what you lost. And it was a very impressive performance and a big win for them.
Yeah, yeah. Huge performance, very impressive. Eagles look super dominant, and the Titans look foolish for letting a guy of that caliber go.
Yeah, they sure did. It was dumb and incredible that they would think that that was a good move. Davante Adams isn't in Green Bay anymore. AJ Brown isn't in Tennessee. Just nutty moves on part of these teams. These guys make a huge difference when they can go out and catch the ball like that.
Yeah, it's very clear. It's very clear that if you have such a skilled individual at a certain position, if you can afford it, you keep him. You
Yeah.
keep him at all costs.
Yeah. I think you get rid of almost the rest of your team. Like this guy is, these guys are just absolutely amazing. They're incredible athletes. You just throw the ball up and they're bringing it down. I'm seeing spectacular catches from them every week. One-handed grabs, complete blanket coverage, double coverage. It doesn't matter. They're coming down with the ball.
Exactly. Like they're the ones who are saying, nope, the ball's up and the ball's mine.
Yeah.
And it will always be mine. Nobody else is gonna get it.
I love it. Yeah. Okay, let's turn to the UFC. They had a UFC Fight Night card from Orlando, Florida. This was this was a great card. This turned out into be a great card. I was very excited and looking forward to it, and especially the main event. I was hoping that it would turn out this way, and it sure did. This was one of my favorite fights of all time. This was definitely my favorite fight of the year. And when you put a striker against a striker and say, hey, let's make a deal, no takedowns, let's just have fun. This turned into a great battle, and you love Kevin Holland, you love Wonderboy, and this was a match made in heaven.
It sure was. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. Holland made a choice. He made a choice to say, I'm going to make this an entertaining fight by agreeing not to go down to the mat. He could have made this fight a lot easier for himself if he incorporated grappling, took Thompson down, and probably would have won the fight. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But he decided, you know what? I'm going to make it exciting. I'm going to give the fans what they want to see, which is a freaking brawl. And brawl did they ever.
Oh,
eventually, Thompson got the better of him with the slickness of his movement and the amazing variety of his head kicks, of his kicks.
Wow.
Just he kicked him with everything and anything.
Yeah. Yeah, the kicks were spectacular. He was using the karate moves that we haven't seen in a while, and just the spinning kicks. Kevin Holland blocked one, broke his hand. I can't believe he was able to stand after taking so many huge, crazy spinning kicks like that. And after a while, Thompson was just like, all right, what else can I do? What else can I throw? I'm not taking this guy out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to kick him low. I'm going to kick him high. I'm going to, oh my God. It was just an incredible display of amazing striker. That's a karate first base fighter. And he broke his hand as well. He ended up breaking his left hand. He said, I heard him today say that his hand was broken early in the fight, but you couldn't tell. You could definitely tell that Holland had that broken hand, and it was good that his corner finally stepped in and said, no, this can't continue anymore. He's taking too much of abuse, and he's just too tough for his own good sometimes. But this one got fight of the night. Both guys got 50K, and they deserve probably 100K or more. And I just thought this matchup was perfect. And you're right, Holland could have easily changed the dynamic and took it to the ground because he was taking so much abuse on the feet. But he was like, no, I want to put on an entertaining show for my fans and the UFC fans in general. And he sure did, man. This was incredible.
It was such a fantastic fight. It was such a fantastic fight on all levels. You knew that Holland had like the whipping power effect, but Thompson, he's such a hard guy to find, such a hard guy to hit. And then the speed of his kicks, the fact that there's no tell, and then all of a sudden you're getting kicked in the head. It's I'm just always impressed with his striking mastery that Thompson brings to the table, brings into the octagon at all times. Holland is one heck of a tough man
Yeah.
because not too many people could take that many kicks from that guy and still be standing and laughing and pointing and be like, "All right, bring it on!" Yeah, I was super impressed, but I was actually more impressed with Holland's corner and their coaches saying, "We're good. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it." And I wish more coaches would do that for their fighters. I really
Yeah.
do.
I was very happy. We've seen too many corners not throw in the towel early on, and they made the right call then. Holland wasn't going to win this fight, and it was good that they said that's done. You know, let him fight another day, and I was very impressed. I got to read a tweet that Derek Brunson put out about Kevin Holland. Derek Brunson was supposed to fight on this card, but he got hurt. He was supposed to fight Jack Hermanson. Roman Dolidze stepped in on short notice to do this, but Derek Brunson decided to weigh in after the Kevin Holland Stephen Thompson fight, and he said Kevin Holland's the type of guy who would try to out moonwalk Michael Jackson. Kevin Holland, the type of guy who'd try to out sing Beyonce. Kevin Holland, the type of guy who'd try to out eat Joey Chestnut, and Kevin Holland, the type of guy who would try to kickbox a 50-0 kickboxer. It was very on point. Love to see it. That was pretty hilarious. And of course, Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer, had to put out his follow-up tweet. He said, yes, and yes. First good tweet you've ever made, Derek. But I'm also the type of guy to come back up in weight class and smack that blonde head of yours around. I'd be doing it just for the fans, though, like always.
There you go. There you go.
Nice. And
Nice.
yeah, the Twitter beef started and it went back and forth, but I love that opening exchange. Brunson put a lot of good thought into that, and Holland came back on him. It was good. It was fun.
Well, of course, because Holland actually always has something to say. If you got something to say, he's definitely got something to say.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it was great, and yeah, it was that was cool. I was so happy that that main event turned out as good as I expected it to, and it seemed like everybody in the crowd was just like, "Holy cow! Can you believe this striking war?" And Thompson kind of turned back the clock. 40 years old, had lost a few recently, and just wasn't looking like that incredible striker that we saw. And they finally put him in a perfect matchup for him.
Yeah, they matched him up well, and Holland agreed to it.
Yeah,
that was the more important part. That Holland said, "All right, let's put on a show. Let's see who's left standing." Right. Unfortunately, Holland didn't come out with the win, but he put on one heck of a fight. One heck of a
incredible. Yeah. Both of them are going to take a while to recover broken hands. Won't see them until probably the midway into 2023. Co-main event had a legend, RDA Rafael dos Anjos against Brian Barberena. This was amazing to see. RDA has just been able to continue on and just put up legendary numbers. He actually surpassed Frankie Edgar for the most fight time ever in the octagon. He has been in the octagon fighting more than 8 hours of fight time. He's starting to chip up the records as well. 21 victories. Only a few guys that have ever been ahead of him on that. Just on and on and on. You see his incredible career, and another really great win here. And look out, he's coming. He's still super relevant, and looking as good as he ever has.
Yeah, yeah, looking as good as he ever had. Dealt with Barberina's pressure well by just like basically doing inside trips, taking him to the mat, using his grappling to his advantage. And then when he got the submission in the second, that wasn't a rear naked choke. That was a neck crank.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was enough that Barberina said,
Had to
"Yeah,
tap.
good enough,
Yeah,
good enough."
yeah. It was a serious face crush,
Yeah,
neck crank,
yeah,
and yeah, he tapped on that. Tough squeeze for sure. That was his 21st victory inside the octagon. Puts him 5th all time. Jim Miller's first with 24 wins. The Pitbull Andre Arlovsky is tied with Cowboy Cerrone, both with 23 wins. Damian Maya has 22, and now RDA has 21, which also is the same amount of wins as Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier. Just behind them is Michael Bisping, George St. Pierre, and John Jones, with all had 20 wins. So elite company that he's joining with every victory.
yeah. Elite company. He deserves it. He's still he's still relevant in the division that he's fighting in, and he's one of the best still. Definitely a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah. He called out Conor McGregor. He was scheduled to fight Conor McGregor back in UFC 196, March 5th, 2016. That was going to be his second title defense. He ended up fighting Cowboy Cerrone instead. He fought him in Orlando, which is the same place they had the fight this year. So it was 7 years since he's been waiting for this. He broke his foot in training, and they couldn't make that happen. So he's called out Conor, and I don't know. We'll see that. I don't know if we'll see that. I think I've sort of been hearing a lot of rumors that it's Michael Chandler that is going to get that next opportunity. UFC loves Michael Chandler for how exciting of the fights he puts on, not necessarily throwing caution to the wind, just trying to put on a good show. And I think a lot of people would be wanting to see Conor and Chandler, and RDA. Maybe not as many people really clamoring for that battle.
Yeah, he's not gonna get that fight. That's just to be honest. He's not gonna get that fight. I understand why he's asking for that fight. It needs a lot of money for him,
Sure.
but he's not gonna get that fight. Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Ton of sense. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's try to blast through the card. We've already been going quite a while. So tell me what you thought of the Matthias Nicolau knockout victory over Matt Schnell.
All right. These guys were kind of danced around each other for a long time. I understood what Nicolau's like, how he approaches the fight game, which is, I'm just going to frustrate you by not doing anything until you get frustrated, and then you do something, and then you make a mistake.
Right.
And then that's how Nicolau capitalized on putting Matt on the deck twice by he hit him with a sneaky left each round. Boom, hit him with sneaky left, hit him with sneaky left again in the second round, tagged him, and then ground and pound finish in the second. Took out Schnell, who was a very good fighter. I thought that was a very great game plan by Nicolau by just waiting. He just wanted to counter.
Yeah.
He just wanted to counter Schnell for the entire fight. And then when he had his opportunity, he countered him very effectively.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a smart game plan and very effective. The flyweight picture is starting to really take shape. We've got the title fight coming up January 21st, UFC 283, Figueiredo and Moreno 4. Alex Pantoja is the backup fighter. So we've got Figueiredo the champ, Moreno of number 1, Pantoja 2, Kai Kara France is 3, Roy Val 4, and Alex Perez is in the 5th position. Nicolau said that he just wants one more fight against one of those top 3 or 4 guys, and then he thinks he deserves a title shot. he said if Pantoja goes down, I'd love to be that backup fighter and be ready. And yeah, I think he's right. Probably one more chance at one of those top 4 or 5 guys, and if he wins in convincing fashion, yeah, he should be next in line.
Yeah, I agree with him. He should be next in line. And then plus on top of that, with those 2 guys kind of dominating the division for as long as they have, you need somebody new in there now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. The Sergey Pavlovich, we won't have to talk very long because it didn't last very long. 54 seconds, he got him out of there. Just rushed at Tuivasa and just started throwing those big bombs. He was able to really take him out quick. This was an amazingly impressive performance to take down Tuivasa, who's no joke and very, very tough.
Very, very tough. It's got a lot of power actually coming back at you. But Pavlovich, fantastic combinations, incredibly accurate punches, and just the power. Tuivasa, once he got rocked, he could never recover. And Pavlovich didn't take his foot off the gas pedal, just kept going and going until he took him out.
Yeah. There were no beers and shoes this time, much to the chagrin of the Orlando crowd. A lot of guys were holding up their shoes, ready to fill them with beer for Tuivasa, but no, not this time. Sergey, I think, he really has a good shot at moving up very, very high. Yeah, this is ranked number 5 coming in. I mentioned the flyweight division. Yeah, look at the guys that are ahead of him here. Francis Ngannou is the champ. Cyril Gane is number 1. Stipe is number 2. Curtis Blades 3. John Jones is in the mix as well. Pavlovich is going to get one of these killers coming up, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him battle one of these guys.
And if he does what he did against Tuivasa, he's getting the title shot immediately.
Yeah. Francis Ngannou released some info today. He hasn't fought since UFC 270 when he beat Cyril Gane. Then he underwent knee surgery. He said that Dana White has been calling him names, has been doing a lot of things behind the scenes that has really made him question if he wants to be part of the UFC. He said Dana criticized him when he got beat by Stipe in UFC 220. He said Dana said he had a huge ego and that's why he lost. This guy doesn't seem to know how to be humble and win. After Ngannou's lackluster performance against Derek Lewis, they actually considered cutting him, and I'm sure they're very glad they didn't. He's won 6 straight, and he's the champ, another African champion. And he said there's been some definite troubles between him and Dana, and he's not sure what the future holds, but he does like being the UFC heavyweight champion, and he said he would love to be that for many, many, many years to come.
Yes. It's like they're not coming to any sort of close agreement on numbers, money. That's what that's telling me right away. Yeah. All right. And then also, too, with Dana White bringing up irrelevant nonsense of the past, doesn't matter. Who cares? Yeah. What does actually matter is the fact that that guy's the champion and he wants to get paid.
Right.
So now you got to negotiate. If you don't want to negotiate, guess what? You lose him. He walks. He probably does a fight with Tyson Fury, makes a ton of money, by the way, and you get nothing.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want to do, then just go do that. Like keep insulting the champion. Keep doing whatever you're doing behind the closed doors, behind the scenes, and then whatever, man. But I want to say, if he does walk, would this not be like one of the first time, like a real, like popular champion has just walked away from the UFC?
Oh yeah,
with the belt.
There have been some way back in the day, but it has been, forever and ever since this would happen, and it would be unprecedented for 15 years or so. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen, because this guy's great to watch, and he really represents the heavyweight division, as a true champion, and yeah, it would be super sad to see him go.
It would be sad to see him go. And you look at that guy, and he's a specimen. He looks like the Hulk. Like you see a man like that walk into the octagon, you're like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna win. I don't think I'm gonna win. So it would be a shame, but I also too, knowing Dana White, wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot to mention Pavlovich got 50K for his knockout of Tuivasa. In this next fight, we're going to break down quickly. Roman Dolidze got his 50K bonus for his brutal knockout of Jack Hermanson. This was incredible calf slicer technique that he utilized to be able to get Hermanson on his stomach and ground and pound him into submission. This was one of the coolest ways of keeping the guy pinned down and getting a victory. I think one of the guys said, "Whoa, I think a lot of guys are going to go to the gym and they're going to figure out this technique, and we're going to see a lot more of these in the UFC in the coming years."
It was as creative a submission to get an advantage and get a sweep too, to get out of like the bottom position as I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like that. Anything. And you could tell that Jack Hermanson, incredibly tough man, but he was in a ton of pain. And there was nothing he could do to get out of the position. Nothing. No, he was screwed. He was screwed. And he knew it. And so all he could do was eat punches and hope that his knee didn't pop. He didn't pop like a tendon or like an ACL or whatever. Yeah. He was hoping for that. I was so impressed. I was so incredibly impressed by what Dolidze did on short notice against a ranked opponent. Dolidze is the real deal, man. Like that, you just don't do that to guys in the upper echelon in the top 10.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. He only had 2 weeks to prepare. He replaced Derek Brunson, as I mentioned earlier, and now he's got 3 knockouts in a row. Phil Hawes and Kyle Dawkins, 2 great knockouts for him, and he called out Khamzat Chimaev after, saying that he won't be able to make weight at his current division. I'm ready for him if he wants to come up and take a beating. He's very confident. This guy is scary, and I think Hermanson was probably like, damn, I wish Brunson didn't get hurt, because I didn't really want to get beat up by this guy. And he looked like he was in a ton of pain with this calf slicer.
Oh yeah.
He probably got some damage that's going to take a while to heal. I mentioned Kyle Dawkins just getting knocked out by Dolidze recently. He suffered his second straight KO losses. Eric Anders just seemed to bully him. He seemed to just push him around. He dropped him with punches. He threw him down. He just went after him. And when Dawkins went for a takedown, he just ended up knocking him down and just grounded and pounded him until Keith Peterson had seen enough and stopped this fight.
I wonder if Dawkins was actually still suffering from a fight where he had to have surgery because he broke his orbital bones on his eye, right? I was wondering in that fight if he was still suffering from that, because he's taken punches like that and not got dropped. Yeah. But in this fight, he did numerous times. Yeah. So I'm wondering, maybe he needed more time to recover, because he to me, he felt a little brittle in there.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, he just did not seem to have it. And I haven't seen that poor of a performance from Dawkins. I mean, Anders is obviously super tough, but it was a one-sided affair for sure.
Yeah, it was a one-sided affair. We've never seen him just like dominated like that, and he got dominated.
He got dropped so many times. It was, yeah, total domination. So yeah. Okay, prelims, let's blast through it. Let's just talk about the Clay Guida, Scott Holtzman. Impressive performance by Guida. He just dominated that fight. Holtzman has decided he's retiring. Guida's still going on. Hall of Famer and Energizer Bunny, and he just brought it for Holtzman and got a really impressive win.
Yeah, got the split decision win. And the one thing with Guida, when you go up against him, he's never going to get tired. He's just going to keep coming after you. Like, you either stop him or he just keeps coming after you. That's just the way that guy is. That's the way he runs. And Holtzman unfortunately just didn't do enough. Guida was the busier fighter. His grappling, I thought, was better than Holtzman's, and he got the win, man. Got the split decision win, and he's going to keep on trucking. He always has.
He always does. Yeah, you're right. Definitely. Yeah. Michael Johnson got a nice victory decision win over Mark Casey. He was just doubling up on significant strikes and just seemed to really, be the better man. He dedicated this fight to Rumble Johnson. It seemed to really make him emotional when he got the win. And Michael Johnson's been around forever. His record isn't phenomenal, but he sure still brings it. Really moving up the ranks in strikes and most knockdowns and many of the dynamics and statistics. And another big win here over a tough bone crusher.
Yeah, another big win. Johnson's been in there with like the best of the best throughout the entirety of his career. And you know what? He really made a statement in the third round. He was by far, I thought, the busier fighter against Casey. And he got a big time win against a very, very good fighter.
All the rest are decisions. Pretty impressive by some of them. JSP got his 5th straight win. Nice decision victory over Elkins. The damage gets damaged all the time. His face was brutalized as usual, blood everywhere. And but he's a complete warrior. He just comes at him, keeps coming, doesn't matter. He is always in that kind of shape, win or lose.
Yeah, win or lose, you know that you've been in a tough fight if you're fighting Darren Elkins. I love the fact that when Pierce gave him that elbow, huge gash on his face, and then the doctor had to come in and is like, it's a fight. It's what we do. Let me get back in there. And the doctor,
exactly.
He's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious. Yeah, he just did not want to quit and just kept at it. And, what else? Francis Marshall got the knockout win. I loved his nickname, Fire Marshall Bill. I haven't heard that since In Living Color, and we were actually watching some videos of good old Fire Marshal Bill the other day. Hadn't seen that character in probably 15 years or so. Love the nickname.
Yeah, no, that's a great nickname. That's actually probably one of the best nicknames in the UFC by far.
Yeah, and incredible debut. Really great. He's undefeated. First knockdown of his career. Kurt Pellegrino is his coach, longtime UFC fighter, and dedicated to his uncle who just passed away this week. So but a great UFC card as always. A lot of fun to watch and to cover, and we are less than a week away from UFC 282. A new title fight, as we mentioned last week, Jan Blachowicz fighting Magomed Ankalaev. Looking forward to that. Paddy Pimblett, Jared Gordon, Darren Till's on the card, Bryce Mitchell, Ilya Topuria. We mentioned that. Unfortunately, we have another cancellation just announced today. Robbie Lawler has an injury and will not be able to fight on the card. His fight against Santiago Ponzinibbio has been postponed. Not sure if they're going to try to find another opponent for Santiago to try to keep that fight going.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That would have been a great fight. Maybe somebody comes in at the last second to fight Ponzinibbio, or maybe it doesn't happen. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Prelims, I'm looking forward to the Garzinho Rosenstrike Chris Dawkins. We talked about his brother Kyle on this card. Back-to-back weeks, we get to see the Dawkins boys. The other fight on the prelims that I'm looking forward to has Joaquin Buckley and Chris Curtis. Two bangers, and these guys are going to go after it. I know it. I'm pretty damn excited about that one.
Yeah. There's probably somebody's getting knocked out. Somebody getting knocked out in that fight.
Yeah. There has been a lot of controversy in the UFC this past week. James Krause, longtime UFC fighter, turned coach, has been banned from the organization. All his fighters, if they continue training from them, have been banned from the UFC. There's some integrity, gambling integrity investigation going on, and he will not be part of the UFC until they will figure that out. It's crazy, all the things that have happened in the past few months, and this is really tough on James Krause. He will not be able to ply his trade, and none of his fighters, like Brandon Moreno, is in his camp, and Brandon Moreno will not be able to fight in the UFC unless he goes and gets a new coach.
And apparently now the FBI has raided his home. Wow. That's new information. FBI has raided his home, and they're coming after him. Really? Racketeering, fraud. Apparently there was a legal gambling ring that he was doing. He was paying for things with cash, and there's a ton of stuff, and it's just it's shocking. It's shocking to think that he was just so upfront and actually bragging about it. He was on Ariel Helwani's show and just blatantly said, "This is what I'm doing." And for me, I'm like, you should never have said that. That is just it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You are in the fight game. You are in the corner. You know information that other people do not know. And you're betting on these fights? Yeah. Not good. Not good.
Yeah, it's too bad. I think that Ariel Helwani interview probably started this whole ball rolling, because he was pretty arrogant and confident about. He said that he made a lot more money gambling and than he did training, that he ever did fighting. He said, he's great. He convinced me. I joined the 1% club and sent him some money to be part of that. I went for some of his picks, and I won some money. All of a sudden this past week, money was returned to me. The money that I put up for my membership was just suddenly returned. I never even asked for it. I didn't hear that it was coming. It just suddenly showed back up in my bank account, and that was really weird. And I think they're trying to do damage control there. And
too late.
Yeah, I was shocked that he's closed down his YouTube channel, his everything. They've just shut everything down, and he tried to bury this. But it seems like if the FBI are involved, this is going to get pretty serious for him.
It's too late. Like as soon as that FBI, it's too late. Yeah. You're looking at jail time now. Jeez. You know what I mean? So he should be extremely worried about his future, because this does not look good right now. And again, why would you ever go on Ariel Helwani's podcast and show and brag about something like that? I think that's incredibly stupid. on his part.
Yeah, well, it wasn't illegal to bet on your fighters, other fighters. I never heard him like saying that he would ever bet on the opponent of his fighter, and I doubt he ever did that. But you're right, this insider information, we hear about it, on Wall Street, stock market, never will they allow insider information, or these people go to jail. I hope that he hasn't been doing any wrongdoing. I hope that when they do the investigation, they realize that he was just, betting on his fighters, betting on some of the guys, that he's known because he's in the business, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to, put up a membership fee, because I thought his knowledge is, greater than I can get, because I'm not in the gym every day working out with these guys and seeing what they have and the guy against the competition that they're fighting. But this is tough, and I think it's only going to get worse. A lot more information is going to come out, but I just hope that he wasn't doing anything illegal. I really, really hope.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. All of that's going to be up, like, it's all coming out. It's all going to be coming out. I hope he's got in his back pocket fantastic lawyers, because he's going to need them.
Yeah. Speaking of legal trouble, Cain Velasquez is out of prison right now, and he was wrestling this weekend. He was in a 6-man tag team match called the Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide event. He took to the mic and expressed his gratitude for being out and being free. He's on a $1 million bond right now. He's facing attempted murder charges that could put him in jail 20 years to life if he's convicted. But it was nice to see him enjoying some freedom right now as he fights this legal battle.
It's tough. That's just the whole situation is tough. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't protect their family the way that he did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know that it's illegal, but the fact that a person like that was even anywhere near children with his past history, how is that even possible?
Yeah. Okay.
That's my question. How did that even happen? How could it have happened?
Okay. Yeah.
Somebody immensely screwed up.
Yeah.
And somebody has to answer for that. Somebody has to answer for that.
Yeah. There was another story that came out this weekend. UFC fighter Howlin Paiva went to court this past weekend to see what was going to happen to the guy that tried to kill him and his girlfriend in 2018. Paiva and his girlfriend were at a nightclub. When they went outside, somebody tried to pick a fight with them. Paiva said, "No, I'm not interested in fighting." Him and his girlfriend went over and got on Paiva's motorcycle. This guy went over and jumped into a car with a friend of his, and they smashed purposely into the motorcycle, killed Paiva's girlfriend, almost killed him. And this guy just got sentenced 16 years in prison this past weekend, and he's going away for a long time. This guy that was the initial protagonist was the passenger. The driver has yet to go to court, and he's facing even more time in prison. And this is tough. Some of these UFC fighters, have some tough things in their life, and this was horrific. He lost his girlfriend, doing the right thing, walking away and not wanting to fight. And these guys decided to run them down. And luckily, one of them's going to prison for a long time, and hopefully the other guy does as well.
Yeah. Obviously, hopefully justice is served. And those guys, especially the driver, goes to prison. He goes to prison for a long time or for the rest of his life, which would be the best outcome that we could.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. I didn't know we were going to get too much into some legal things, but yeah, this James Krause thing has just been blowing up even more and more and more every week. But to hear him get banned, to hear New Jersey Athletic Commission, Ontario and Alberta Athletic Commissions, no betting on UFC fights right now. A lot of things are just coming out, and I think it's just going to get. We're going to hear more and more and more as the weeks progress, and I'm shocked that it's got ramped up so quickly though, and he's banned as well as all of his fighters are banned. This is tough. This is tough for a guy that's a lifelong fighter and one of the best in the business, and supposedly one of the best coaches out there too. World champion Brandon Moreno and many of the other guys. Derek Minner has been completely released by the UFC, and they're trying to do damage control there, but it might be out of the UFC's hands to control this as much as they were hoping for.
No, it's completely out of their hands. Let's be honest. It's completely out of their hands. They can do what they need to do to mitigate anything, so any sort of liability on their side of things. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, it's gonna happen the way it's gonna happen. That's it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. NBA, just a couple quick notes. The players of the week this past week 7 of the NBA. Kevin Durant was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week, 33 points and 7 rebounds average. Nets were 3-1 on the week. Also 3-1 were the Lakers, and Anthony Davis was the Western Player of the Week there in the West. 37.8 points, 13 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game. That game yesterday, though, wow, 55 points, 17 rebounds, and 3 blocks. LA has gone on a 4-game win streak, and Anthony Davis is looking like a guy that we haven't seen in a couple of years. Really putting together some amazing performances this weekend.
He's reawakened. It's almost like he rediscovered. It's like, wait a second. I'm Anthony Davis. I'm actually supposed to be really good. You know what? And I'm now going to start playing like it. Yeah. He's been absolutely incredible. He's been on a fantastic tear for the last 2 to 3 weeks, averaging like 35 points, 16 rebounds. Like, yeah, he's come back.
55 points against Washington, 44 against Milwaukee. That 55 is 4 points shy of his career best in 2016. He had 59. He's the first player since Patrick Ewing to record 50 plus points, 15 plus rebounds, and 3 plus blocks on 70% shooting. His 40 made field goals over the last 2 games tied Kobe Bryant as the only player in the last 2 seasons that have got that, and the first Laker since Shaq to have 40 and 10 in consecutive games. Shaq did that last in the year 2000. Pretty crazy. Story that just came out today: Trae Young and Nate McMillan having a huge battle over the weekend, and Nate McMillan was questioning Trae if he was going to play or not. And he said, what are you doing here if you're not even going to play? Don't be here for shoot around. Trae said, no, I want to be here for shoot around. They got into a heated battle, and Trae Young said, okay, forget it, and wouldn't play on the weekend. They've had to have some meetings to try to get these two together and figure it out. Pretty shocking that they had such a big blow up over the weekend.
Yeah. Apparently, I was going to say that I thought it was because Trae went for treatment for shoot around and then show up and then tried to play in the game. And then now Nate's like, well, hey, man, shoot around means we're actually, going through how we want to run our offense and defense against this team. Yeah. Now, if you're not going to be a part of that, then you're not really a part of the team. This is a team game, right? And so I personally think that there's some maturity issues with Trae. I think there's some leadership issues, because didn't he have the same issue with Lloyd Peterson, I think? Yeah. Sent him on his way, sent him packing. All of a sudden, what's this? You're having the same issues with a fantastic coach in Nick McMillan? Yeah. That's not good now, because now we're beginning to see a pattern.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he uses Kyrie Irving as a mentor. He should probably stop doing that if he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's something going on there, and he needs to know that the organization backs Nate McMillan. They really like him.
Yeah.
He's locked into his contract. He's not going
4
anywhere.
or 5 seasons. Yeah, he's locked down for. So yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think Trey's immature there and thinking that the team revolves around him completely. But yeah, I think Nate McMillan is one of the best coaches in the NBA and seems to be entrenched there for a while. So they got to figure out how to get along.
Yeah, they got to figure it out, man. They got to figure it out, and he definitely needs to figure it out.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned Kyrie Irving. Officially today, he was released from his Nike contract. Cost him $11 million, and he was going to end that contract this year and look to re-up it. But Nike said no because of this anti-Semitism and these issues and problems. We want nothing to do with you anymore. So more money lost and more troubles for Kyrie. But do you think he even cares?
Probably not. Also, too, with Kyrie, with the way that he thinks, he's like, "Oh, that's great. I'm on the open market. I'm a free agent. Let's see where else I can go. Let's see who's interested." Right? That's more to probably the thinking of Kyrie.
Yeah. James Harden was to play tonight after missing 14 games with a right foot sprain that he had. Hopefully he can come back. He was going to play in Houston, where he spent 9 seasons. He won 3 scoring titles, went to 9 All-Star games, and was the MVP in 2017, 2018. Kind of a good game for him to return, and hopefully he can get back to being 100% healthy.
Yeah, hopefully he can do that. Hopefully he's can get back to like the Harden that they need him to be for that team, which is incredibly effective, efficient, and throwing dimes to Embiid.
I was really hoping that I would see the opening of the game, so I'd see him run out and see if he had the fat suit on again or not, because 14 games sitting around. Harden, I don't know if he's going to keep in shape. You'd think he'd probably put on a bunch of weight sitting around.
Hopefully he's learned his lesson and is taking care of himself, but I guess we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out, yeah. When I got home tonight, watched the Raptors play Boston. Boston's top team in the league. Raptors gave them a great run for their money, but lost 116-110. I was very impressed with the Raptors and their performance against the best team in the league, and it was neck and neck the whole game. Pascal Siakam looked great. He went seemed to go a mano against Jason Tatum, and it was a fun game. Raptors next play the Lakers, AD and LeBron on Wednesday. So looking forward to seeing AD if he could keep this amazing streak up and yeah, just man, I don't remember seeing AD this good in about 4 or 5 seasons actually.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen this guy, and this is the same guy that when the Lakers won.
Yeah.
If he keeps playing at this high a level, well, now the Lakers can make some noise. Now they're actually have some relevancy in the Western Conference.
Totally, yeah. Okay, man. Well, that concludes another great podcast. Appreciate your time as always. Thanks for all your great insight. Glad you had a nice chill weekend. Got to watch as much sports as I did, and yeah, I hope your week goes great. Man, it is coming fast. We finally get some holidays very, very soon, and I know both of us are really looking forward to it.
I am definitely looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to just chilling out, relaxing, seeing friends, family, and eating great food. I'm looking forward to all of it.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Have a great night. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Talk to you very soon.
Talk to you very soon. Have a great night.
Okay. Thanks. Good night. Okay. Wow. Thanks so much for tuning in as always. Appreciate your support. Appreciate the support of our partners and sponsors. And yeah, this was actually super long podcast, but fun and great as always. And yeah, take care of yourself. Have a nice week ahead, and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.